losses for the Bucks. We're at the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Craig Kashan and Steve Novak here with you tonight. Didn't really see this coming a whole lot, especially at halftime. Granted, it was a tough three-game stretch where the Bucks lost to non-playoff qualifiers, if you will, Steve. But, man, what a strong first half Milwaukee had. And then the script was simply flipped. It was really all New York in that second half.
You know, it really wasn't. Like you said, to be ahead by 11 points at half, that was their largest lead to that point. You just started to feel like, all right, this team is back where we expected them to be. And then, like you said, they flipped the script and to outscore Milwaukee by 24 points in that second half. It was definitely some fourth-quarter shot-making by guys like Donte DiVincenzo, but Jalen Brunson was good all night long. He has done this to the Bucks now for the 5th time this season. He had a 45-point game earlier in the year in the first matchup. Now 43 points tonight, and he really was unstoppable. I think you just have to just watch the way he plays and go, oh, there's got to be a way to stop him. He can take away the three. Well, then he puts the ball on the floor and it gets to the rack. He draws contact. He scores in every single way. He's at the rim. He's from the perimeter. He's running the team. He's doing so much. He had 8 assists as well to go along with those 43 points. And so he was that consistent force all night that Milwaukee was trying to figure out. They were trying to figure out, how do we take Jalen Brunson out of this game? How do we make him uncomfortable? And I think when that's the case and someone else steps up like a Donte DiVincenzo and he gets shots to start to fall, and then so does Bogdanovic, all of a sudden it becomes too much. And so I think I'm as puzzled, to be honest, as everyone else. To be honest, the last 3 games I said, look, it's just a bit of a fluke. But now I think the feeling of concern, it does start to set in as you start to see the Eastern Conference standings start to kind of shift. Milwaukee's still sitting up at number 2, but all of a sudden beneath, Orlando's right there, just a game and a half behind, or a game behind after tonight. New York is right there, and there starts to become that movement where you feel safe. But once those seeds start to change and you start to see other teams climbing up, you start to just feel a little bit of concern.
Yeah, the Bucks technically clinch a top 6 playoff berth, so they have done that. They will not fall into the play-in portion of the postseason. That's really the biggest silver lining out of this at this point here tonight now with this 4-game losing streak. But a former teammate really scorched him in the fourth quarter. Donte DiVincenzo connects on 8 threes in this game. Donte with 26 points, but 12 of those coming in the fourth quarter, and half of those threes, 4 coming in that fourth quarter.
And the fourth quarter threes, they were absolute daggers, but he has been the guy for this team that has put together 5 games of 30 points or more at certain stretches of this season. And so he's been a hot hand. Coach Tibbs has trusted him, but those kind of shots right there, a play is broken down. The defense has done a pretty good job. You just need Donte to turn it over, to miss it, to do something other than find a way to get a shot like that to fall. But that's exactly what he did, going 4 for 4, like you said, in that fourth quarter, making 8 of his 11 three-point attempts. Those are the kind of numbers that when an individual has that kind of night, and he makes 8 threes on his own, and then you're looking at how many threes the other team made. He was pacing himself to make almost as many as the Milwaukee Bucks, and you just realize those are the kind of performances that you have to see from certain guys at this point in the season when a team is starting to make that move and they're starting to get that rhythm. And look, this is a New York team that, to be honest, has been struggling. They've gotten back healthy with a Mitchell Robinson, with an OG Anunoby out there, and so they're much closer to full strength, even though Julius Randle's not out there. But when a guy like Donte gets hot and he makes 8 threes, it is a game changer.
Couple of things in the fourth quarter before Doc inserted his bench players with about a minute to go. The Bucks shooting just 35% in that fourth quarter. That's a topic we talked about on our Bucks Live pregame show over the 3-game losing streak before it became 4 now, is not being able to connect in that final quarter. 4 turnovers as well and just 21 points during that stretch. Just not enough to win games.
You know, it's not. And I think it's just not who this Bucks team has been previous to this rough stretch where we've seen Giannis be so good in fourth quarters. We've seen Dame be such a good closer. And so there's no question, when you've got stars like that can get you a bucket, that especially can get fouled when things get tough and they slow down, they can get to the line and find a way to make something happen. That's just not what we've seen over these last 5, 6, 7 games. And so you do start to just question, what is wrong right now? How can this get fixed? Is there still time? What is it going to look like? Will it even matter depending on the matchups in the first round? I think a lot of questions that we can't answer, but I think also watching the team struggle to try to make it happen, you start to almost be sympathetic. You see Doc trying to call certain plays. You see Giannis out there busting his hump. You see Bobby with another big game tonight. And so there's good things, and you see the effort and the energy that's there. But then the results, which we know that this is a results business, they're just not there. And so it definitely feels frustrating at this point.
Menard's big money moment belongs to Giannis in this game. He returned after sitting out the last game, still nursing a hamstring issue. 28 points, 8 assists, and it looked like everything was flowing nicely again in that first half. Not so much in that second half.
Yeah, not so much in that second half. But you could just tell the way he was playing with such force, trying to make it very much felt with those extra efforts and those follow-ups. And there were certain times where he would make a play, and he would look over at the fans, and he would look over at his own bench, and he would give them the mean mug and really try to get that energy going. I think just trying to make a statement as much to the bench and to the fans as he was to the New York Knicks. Hey, we're going to beat you tonight. Hey, this is going to be where we turn that corner. And so, like you said, it just wasn't able to be sustained all the way into that second half because Jalen Brunson was continued to be so good. Donte DiVincenzo then became a part of it, and so did Bogdanovich, just continuing to make shots. And so frustrating being able to make some big offensive plays along with Bobby, but just not able to close it out.
One other note to mention, Chris Middleton goes down with an injury to his mouth midway through the second quarter. Did not return, so obviously a significant enough injury for him not to return. We don't know the severity yet. Perhaps Doc Rivers will let us know when we hear from him coming up in just a couple of moments. The Knicks win it here tonight. Back at the Gruber Law Offices, One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Craig Sean and Steve Novak here on Bucks Live postgame. We're going to hear from Doc Rivers coming up in just a couple of minutes and hope to get a medical update as well on Chris Middleton. All right, let's talk Bobby Portis a little bit here in this one. Bucks got within 6 late in that fourth quarter. They obviously the lead for New York extended away there, but Bobby Portis really had a lot to do in the second half of keeping the Bucks in this game. He had a strong one here tonight, 24 points, 4 threes.
You know, and if you are looking for silver linings and you are looking for rhythm, there is no question you're wanting to see certain guys playing well because you realize, look, these are frustrating losses, and yet there's still a lot of basketball to be played. And I think Bobby Portis was certainly one of those guys. I think Chris Middleton has been that guy who's been scoring 20-plus points for the last stretch of games, the last 3. And seeing Bobby Portis putting up these double-doubles, continuing to have games where he has 24 points, you realize, look, there's still time to salvage what seems like a major run. And I think seeing Bobby Portis come in, play with energy, have big games where he's scoring 24 points, it does still matter. Does it seem like it does right now because the Bucks are losing? Not so much, but I do think similar to Donte DiVincenzo having a big performance and knocking down 8 threes and it being enough to get them off the schneid and to have New York playing better, I think you hope that this is a performance by Bobby Portis that he's able to feed off of, that he's able to continue to play like it. So 24 points from him, a solid performance, and I think we hope that that means he's going to continue to play that way going forward.
Stats on Dame tonight, a little lopsided as far as scoring via the free throws here in this one.
Yeah.
Dame ends up with 23 points, 14 of those, though, Steve, coming from the free throw line.
Yeah, and a rough night shooting. Like you said, only making 4 field goals, going 1 of 7 from the three-point line. I think it's one of those nights you look up and go, Dame Lillard has 23 points. You got to say, look, great job drawing those fouls, getting that contact. But obviously, you know that this Bucks team is at their best when he's shooting over 50%, when he's efficient, when he's knocking down shots. And the defense has to react. If he's missing shots like he was tonight and just getting to the free throw line, I think you find it to start to be a little bit forced as far as trying to draw the fouls and get the contact, and it's just not as easy. And obviously trying to operate in some of those spaces where you usually see the big fellas, Brook Lopez, Giannis, Bobby Portis down there. All of a sudden, Dame is downhill trying to get contact in those areas. And so 23 points, not a bad game. But I think when you look at the numbers overall, you just want to see that rhythm continue when he had 36 just last game, and so it just wasn't the case.
Yeah, you see starting guard play here tonight. B's only nine points for the Bucks here in this one. New York's guards out shooting the Bucks, the starting guards, 69-32 here in this one. That's not the lopsidedness that you can compete with usually in these games.
No, it's not. And I think when you got a guy going from start to finish like Jalen Brunson was, you just see a team, they feed off that energy. And Lord knows we've seen the Bucks have games like that where Dame is going and he's cooking, or Giannis is going, or whoever it might be.
precious love, the stars spell out. Love longing for our union then. Love my fragrance so captivating. You close to me, I lose myself. Never thought I would find love like this. Never thought I would be waiting. Move your body, let your spirit soar. Ella, you're out and move your body.